Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Be Healed. This is our Tuesday night web show. It's been a minute, right? It's been a minute since I've been able to go live, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But welcome to all of you that are tuned in, whether it's on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. So happy to have you. I am your host, Camille R. Perry, in the flesh, and I'm happy to be with you all on tonight. And so, as you can see, tonight's title is I Know Something About God's Grace. And we're just going to jump right in. I don't plan to be before you long at all, and just kind of keep you guys updated. I first want to just say thank you to each and every person. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Sissy. Love you so much. To each and every person that knew something was going on or heard. Hey, hey, friend, the boss lady, Anna. Yes, I'm good to see. Good to see me live. I'm good to. I'm glad to be alive. Right. Um, those that actually knew what was going on, or received a text message from my mom or dad. Hey, sis, how you doing, Cassandra? Praying for you too, babe. Um, you know, uh, I appreciate everyone that reached out that knew. A lot of folks didn't know. Some folks are just going to learn tonight, and that's fine. There's no issue there. It came quickly, it happened quickly, and so we're going to talk about that. But the title is so fitting. It's a song that I really love, by one of the choirs. But was talking to a friend of mine, and he was kind of saying, like, playing on the theme of amazing grace, but it's truly God's grace that brought me here. And so let's just jump right in. So I'm gonna try to get through this episode tonight without crying. Okay. I have a strong feeling and a sneaky suspicion that that won't be the case, but I'm gonna do my part. So good evening, everyone. Hey, Mama Jordan, happy birthday. My mommy's on, Mary on. Thank you so much. My cousins, appreciate all you all. So, all right. I must start off and say that it's very easy for me. I never thought I had a high pain tolerance. Never thought I had a high pain tolerance. I just felt like, you know, just deal with it. But I have a very high pain tolerance, and so and I pretty much live in pain. I have some of you know, but most ladies understand, especially if you're a minority woman, we suffer from uterine fibroids. Some suffer from uterine fibroids, and so I've had a myomectomy back in 2013, where they cut me like a C-section, and so removed out 11 tumors back in February of 2013. And hey, Mama Dolls, good to see you. God bless you. I owe you a special thank you, and I'll talk to you later offline on that. But it I had so like ever since then, I've always just dealt with pain. Always just dealt with pain. And so anytime something comes up, I'm like, oh, I just blame it on this old couch, as I call my uterus. I just blame it on that, like, oh, I'm just in pain. So I was headed to the airport June 4th, picking up my friend and want to spend time with him and everything. And I was in pain then, but I didn't pay attention to it. I just didn't pay attention to it. Cared less about it. Just I was like, oh, I'll deal with it later. And I was in pain, and I noticed it was hard for me to eat. It was hard for me to eat. It was hard for me, like I didn't feel great, but I didn't feel bad. Bad enough for me to say, oh, let me let me park or something. Let me not do anything. And so that weekend, I was feeling a little rough, and I knew I needed to get my COVID shot. So I dealt with the pain. I just pushed it off in the back burner, dealt with the fact that I wasn't really eating, dealt with the fact that I didn't feel good, but I just pushed it off because other things had to be done. And so Saturday, get back my way, I get my COVID shot. And that second shot, they always say it wears you out. Oh, it does. Okay. So I was down Saturday night and all Sunday, just down. And probably about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, I started feeling a little bit better, but still not feeling great. And so I knew like that COVID thing had kind of left and, whatever that was. But I wasn't feeling too great. And so I was still moving kind of slow. And my body was saying things to me, but I wasn't in tuned and listening. So Monday, I took a shower, getting ready to go to work, got a, MSJC.edu all day. Um, and I was getting ready to go to work and I was feeling a little sluggish, not feeling too well. Um, just I knew something was wrong, but I was just like, dang, like you blame things on something else. I was like, oh, this COVID shot is real. Like, oh my God, that's conspiracy. Anyways. And so I called my boss and I told her, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing too good. And she was like, okay, take the day. And meanwhile, the pain that I've been having in my abdomen, I have just subscribed to just like feeling off, but it was a different kind of pain. I've never felt this kind of pain before. So I was trying to find a place to lay in my bed and get comfortable. And I found a place and I laid there, and within maybe a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, my body felt like an inferno. And like ladies, the difference, like when we have hot flashes, like that's one thing. But when your whole body feels like it's on fire, and that nausea feeling. And so I jump up, slowly jump up, and I go to the bathroom, and Lord knows I'm sick. I mean, sick, 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 sick. Now, mind you, I haven't eaten since Friday, but I'm sick. I don't know, I'm gonna be too graphic, but I'm sick, y'all. And it's really bad. So I barely get a chance to call my parents and let my mom know, like, hey, something's wrong. I'm not doing good. So she tries to make a doctor's appointment. She comes, um, like, even like my daughter has stopped by the house to pick up some things. And I told her not to come in my room because I'm thinking it's viral. I'm thinking like maybe I have the stomach flu or something. And that was one thing. And so I'm just miserable and sick. My mom gets to my house and she's trying to get in and see about me, and I just can't move. This is my second shower that I've had. I'm feeling weak. Um, I'm I don't like my body is not well, and so I'm sitting on the sofa in my upstairs room, and my mom comes in and she has electrolytes and she has ginger ale. Mothers to the rescue. I thank God for my mother. I thank God for my parents and for my village and my tribe, but my mother truly is my best friend. And so my mom, she was trying to care for me, and my friend had called, and and we're trying to laugh and everything. And I had took a sip of the electrolyte, and I took a sip of the ginger ale, and within seconds, all of that was up. And I slowly started feeling that things were shutting down. Like you know how like when you ever seen like a movie and they start turning off the lights in the office or in your doof, doof, doof. That's what it started feeling like things were going off in my body, like things were just starting to shut down. And so I told my mom, I said, we're not going to make it to the doctor's appointment, take me to the hospital. And so um, she gets me in the car. That was a chore. And when I tell you the pain that I was having, if my body went right, it felt like everything in my abdomen went right. If I leaned to the left, it felt like everything in my abdomen leaned to the left. I felt every road bump, every divot in the road. It was bad. Like I was just in pain, excruciating pain. And the longer we drove to the hospital, the less I felt like I was going to live. Now, I've heard people say, like, I felt life leave my body, and I've never understood that until June 7th. And I started to feel life leaving my body so much so I told my mom, I don't think I'm going to make it. Now, I remember my mom putting her hand on my knee and asking for clarifying questions like, what does that mean? And, you know, in that moment, I started to think about all the stuff that would go undone or I would leave unfinished because I really didn't think I was going to make it. Like I felt like I was dying. Get to the hospital, they're rushing me through and different things and blood work. And you know how it goes at some hospitals. They do the initial triage and then they put you in the waiting room. Then they call you for different things and they put you back and, like that whole back and forth, back and forth. But one of the nurses, her name is Nicole, she took a special emphasis. She was like, something's not right. Let me have the doctor look at you now. So they began to do what, and they got me in a room and everything. And they did CT scans. They wanted to, they did all x-rays and all this different stuff. And they go through this whole diagnostic procedure to find out what's wrong. And then they start drawing blood. They took so much blood from my hands and they were trying to determine what's going on because they were like, something's amiss. She's vomiting, she's having other releases, like, she's her fever is real, like something's not right. And they diagnosed me with a sepsis infection. And for those of you who are medically in tuned or you watch your Grey's Anatomy, or if you just go to Google, it's just when your body is poisoned, there's poison in your blood. Okay. And you can be septic in one side of your body and not on the other. It's the way God made this body is truly amazing. So, anyways, they diagnosed me with a sepsis infection, and the doctor said if you would have waited a day or two, just anything, you wouldn't be here. Like you would have went into complete septic shock, and we would be doing life saving measures. But God, but God, um, and you talking about having this uncontrolled, like when you have no control of your body at this point. Your body is doing what it's trying to do because a part of it's trying to save itself, but as well as, it's fighting off and it's doing what it's doing, and I have no control. Now you all know that my goddaughter's been ill for 2 years now, battling cancer, and I'm the point of contact on all kind of fronts. And I had my mom call Sonia, and I was letting her, I can't do anything. I can't call nobody. I can't be the point of contact. I need y'all to handle it. It was a lot going on. They admitted me into the hospital, and I just felt hopeless and helpless because I couldn't do anything. I literally couldn't do anything. I was at the mercy of the doctors. I kept vomiting. They would give me morphine, and then they gave me Dilaudid, and that just made me even more sick. And then, you don't want to be outside of your mind. It was a lot going on. And I'm trying to wrap this up because I wrote down notes so I can have a clear train of thought because it's been a while since I've done this. But it was very much a near death experience. It was very much traumatic. Um, but God, right? Now, I consider myself to be a very grateful person. I consider myself to be a person who always counts her blessings. But I have to admit, y'all, it was hard in that hospital. You hearing people wailing and, folks crying out, that didn't set well in my psyche. I'm laying in this hospital bed, uncomfortable, can't get any rest. Blowed out my veins in both arms and hands because they just kept taking blood so much and drawing, and then they had to put a pick line. It was a lot going on. Couldn't sleep, couldn't eat anything, was afraid to eat things, just couldn't care for myself, couldn't walk. Like it, I was not the normal Camille. And I just was frustrated. I'm like, God, like, why? Like, why is this happening to me? Like, what did I do? And it's funny because I think we all get to this place, like, we all deal with issues and strife and troubles and drama and stuff. And then you start like sometimes your mind start playing tricks on you. And you start feeling like, okay, well, maybe is this because I'm like, am I the problem? Like, I can think very Old Testament, like, okay, I'm like, I like you read the Old Testament, it was a lot of stuff going down. When God was, you know, setting folks down, He was setting folks down, like open up grounds and boils and different things. I was like, God, am I being like? I just couldn't understand. I couldn't wrap my head around it. And during this process, I'm not telling God, thank you that I'm alive. I'm not telling him, thank you that I made it. I'm just mad and I want to get out of the hospital and I don't want to be touched and I just want to be healthy again. I want my independence back. I want to get ready for this conference. I got things to do. I got sorority stuff. I got church stuff but all of a sudden none of that stuff mattered. Like the more I wanted freedom or to break out, the more I got to the place where you not doing nothing. And so I had to put my headphones in and listen to some gospel music. And I was praying and talking to God. And God just started to deal with me even in that moment. And I had to apologize. Like, God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that because there was this one gentleman across the hall from me. He wailed every hour on the hour. And I mean deep wailing. And I mean, like, and I'm like, Lord, touch his body, like trying to pray, but still in my own issues. And Lord just started reminding me, and I heard that song Tremaine Hawkins used to sing, be grateful for there's someone else that's worse off than you. And I just really had to like tell God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I took this all for granted. It could have went another way. I didn't have to be, you know, I it could have been different, but God, and I'm so grateful for that. So fast forward, um, in the hospital for about 5 or 6 days. I'm ready to go. They put a pick line in me, and that was an ordeal. And I was like, God, calm my heart. And then they put me on home health. So I'm on home health. Um, they're showing me how to do my own medication and IVs. And so I'm at home at my parents' house, still at my parents'. I have not been to my home since June 7th, and I believe my house is still there. But I was on home health, and the nurses was coming to see about me. I'm on a walker, by the way. Like it was just Camille was not Camille. And so, but I'm able to be at home and still dealing on a lot of medication, a lot of antibiotics, trying to clear everything out. Still having trouble with trying to figure out what to eat. And through all of this, and I'm still having this conversation with the Lord of showing me what am I supposed to learn in this time? And literally, God just showed me you've been killing yourself doing too much, and you didn't know that you were killing yourself. And it became more focus on what I need you to do. Focus on what I've called you to do. It's great to help, it's great to assist, it's great to do different things, but focus on what I've given you to do. And I'm really having to like now I'm just like if it's not purposeful or going towards my purpose or peaceful, I don't want no parts of it. It's just been it I mean, I'm realizing like I can't be everything and do all things. I can't. I can't. I just can't. I can't. Because it was killing me. So was on home health and everything and having to see infectious disease doctors and having to go to um, like literally my gynecologist and then going to an internist and then going to a GI doctor because no one truly understood where this infection came from, but all they know is like it happened. And so here I am, PICC line free. Oh, developed blood clots with the PICC line. So it was just like layers of issues. Went back to the hospital. Go back to the hospital and they diagnosed me with blood clots in my left arm. Not just in the PICC line, but from like your underarm where the pectoral muscle is, all the way down. I just had blood clots all in my left arm. Still, and so I'm on blood thinners for that. And I thought they were going to hospitalize me. And I was sitting there in the ER with my mom, and I was just like, this is not going to happen. Like, y'all don't understand. Like, I will burn this place down. I cannot be in this hospital again. I cannot. And I was like, Jesus, please, please, I just want to get out of here. I just want to walk out. And the Lord blessed me on that Thursday night to be able to walk out. I didn't have to be hospitalized. They took the PICC line out. They put another IV in my right arm, and they were like, you can medicate this way. And then, everything will be fine. So when I was walking out with my mom out of the hospital, I played J.J. Harrison's song, You're Gonna Live to See It Happen. And that's really my testimony because that song just kept being in my heart. You're gonna live. You shall live and not die to declare the works of the Lord. And you really have to talk to yourself. You got to speak over yourself. You got to put the word on yourself, because if not, it will mess you up. Because there was a couple times where I was like, folks was calling and sending stuff, and I'm grateful for everyone who called and reached out and sent love gifts and flowers and stuff. I was thinking to myself, I said, oh, if I did die, my parents would have been good. People would have cared for them. But your mind goes places. But I knew that if I was telling the Lord, I'm like, I'm 37. Like, I'm not ready to go. Like, I have unfinished business. I have things that I haven't accomplished yet. And God blessed me to live some more. And so, anyways, I feel like I'm rambling. But um, God has healed me. I got my blood results back. Okay, so let me fast forward. So, blood clots, on blood thinners for however long. It is what it is. I'm okay. Um, my dad, we all have the same primary physician. So my dad used his medical appointment for me. Um, and so they ordered blood work. And so we went and did that yesterday, and I got my lab results today. And the doctor was like, so when you have an infection in your body, your white blood count, white blood cells are high because your body's trying to fight the infection. When I went into the hospital, your normal range, like anytime there's an infection, it can anything over 12,000 is considered, your body is like fighting towards an infection and whatnot. Um, my white blood cell count at that time was 24,000. And they wouldn't let me go home until I got into an acceptable range where they could see that the medication would work. And so I had dropped down to like 15,000, then went up to 16, and then back to 15. And so when they finally cleared me to go home, I was just like, Lord, I just want my white blood count to go down. So today, looking at the results, like my white blood count is like 6,000. And I'm like, that's way below normal. Like, they're like, okay, you definitely don't have an infection in your body. So to God be the glory for that, for the great things he has done. And so, you know, my doctor was just like, you're well, you're doing better. I got to go see some other doctors to figure out what caused this. They still want to check my abdomen. They still want to make sure, that it's not gut related. They still want, they still have a surgery pending for GY related. Like, there's still things like I'm not out the woods yet, but I'm better. I'm definitely not where I was on June 7th. So, um, where am I going with this? I know something about God's grace. God has been so gracious to me because I have given him a million and one reasons on why my life could have been cut short. We all have, right? We don't say the right things. We don't do the right things. We're not always good people, but God has been gracious to me. There was a time where I was like, oh, because the people be praying on my demise. Your mind going places, and the Lord reminded me, I hear the prayers of the righteous. Like, the prayers of the righteous avails much. Like, stop being worried about who might be against you, and remember who's for you. That was huge. That was a lesson that I learned in this season, and so had a lot of visitors come see me in different things. And one of the cards, so many cards that I've received, but one of the cards had one of my favorite scriptures in it out of Psalms 23. I think it's verse 26. And it says, even my heart might fail and grow weary, but the Lord is the strength of my life and my portion forever. Strength of my heart, and He is my portion forever. And that's truly my testimony. Um, he is my portion forever. It's only by Him that I'm yet here. I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that when people come and see me, I can hug them versus someone laying at me and saying, "Oh, who did her body? Oh, she looked good." I'm grateful. I wasn't able to do a couple of things that, I had tasks to do, but God still stepped in and brought things to fruition. And so I'm grateful because it helps me to understand that life still goes on, you know, and sometimes you will work yourself to the bone thinking that only you can do it, and that's not even the case. The Lord has explained to me very clearly the power of delegation, the importance of it, the importance of leaving a record so someone else can pick up the baton. Like, don't just hoard stuff, Camille, and you the only one to know how to do this, and you're the only one to know how to do this. No, delegate, put this stuff out here, make it accessible for someone else. Like, you can't be the end all be all because one day you will end. And either the task that you thought was worth dying was so big will end, or somebody else will come up with a new way. Like, I'm coming out of this thing so different, so different. Like, stuff just ain't bothering me. I'm not letting stuff upset my apple cart no more. Um, hey, I got a reason to live. I have a mission. I have a purpose. There's a conference coming up August 19th through the 21st to be healed women's conference. That's happening. $40 registration. I would love for you all to be there. All like this point, I'm like, everybody welcome, women's virtual conference. But you know, I have things that God wants me to complete, and I can't do it if I'm divided in so many areas. So my purpose is be healed. Like, that's the ministry God has given me. That's what I'm walking in. And so I need to focus in on that. And so things that I've given so much energy to that did not push that purpose, I have to withdraw myself. And so Psalms 34:19 says, many of the afflictions are of the righteous, but the Lord delivered them out of them all. I'm grateful to God that He saw fit to hold me, to keep me. Many people don't make it for less. There's folks who have been ill and dealing with diseases and situations, but God has blessed me to come through, and I'm grateful. The hardest part, because my kids have never seen me sick, the hardest part with all of this was not being able to see my daughter, not being able to, and she went into the hospital and she was dealing with things. But when the Lord blessed for me to see my baby and hug her and spend time, God does all things well. I'm off work for, a certain amount of time, and until I get medical clearance to go back. It's just, but in this time out that God has called in my life, this reset, I'm just soaking in. Um, I'm soaking in what it is that He wants me to do, how He wants me to be. I definitely know that I'm loved. And I just want to tell you all thank you for everyone who has come to see me. Fran came in and surprised the mess out of me, conspired with my parents, but blessed my whole weekend. Those that calling and texting and coming by the house, and cousins, friends, and family sending different things. God, I thank you that I know that I'm loved. I'm thankful that there's people who are praying for me, because when you can't pray for yourself, oh my goodness, it is necessary. It is essential to have someone to intercede and pray for you. So I'm probably have rambled a few times, but I'll tighten this stuff a little later. This has been about 3 weeks that I have not said a word, but God has been faithful. He has been kind to me. He has been patient with me. He has healed me. I've had to accept the fact that there's a new way that I need to conduct myself, and I'm walking in that. The good thing is I have, lost 38 pounds since being sick. This is not how I wanted to do it, but I ain't mad at it. Okay, you know, I ain't mad at the weight loss. I'm gonna keep it down. Still got more to lose, but just changing my eating habits and so many things. Like so much has changed. Like things that I like ice water now. I never liked ice water before. I got taste for things I ain't never had taste for. Like it's just so crazy. But I thank God that He has healed my body. I thank God for praying parents. I thank God for praying family and friends and network of folks. And so, thank you all for tuning in. Again, this is, I just know a little bit about God. I know something about God's grace. I don't take it for granted. I won't take it for granted ever again. I won't run myself into the ground trying to be all things to everybody. I can't, I won't do that. I will live my life in service to Him and making sure that I pay attention to this temple that He's given me to occupy. Pay attention to what my body is saying. When my body says you need a rest, rest. When my body, like today, my body was like, take a nap. And I took some naps. Relax, like really honing in and letting God lead me versus me just being so quick to move. The scripture over my brother Tito, God rest his soul, one of his favorite scriptures, Philippians 4:6, and said, be anxious for nothing, but in all things through prayer and supplication, make your requests known and let the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, guard your hearts. And um, it's when you get sick unto death like that, you start thinking like, am I going to be next? Am I, things get rough. Things get rough. But God is faithful. God is good. God is great. And I'm learning not to be anxious for anything. God, just have your way. Whatever you want to do in my life, however you want to do it, God, you lead me. I'm yours, Lord. So that's it. That's a little bit of update. I'm okay, y'all. I'm getting back to better. I'm not on a walker anymore. I'm walking on my own. Don't walk as fast as I used to. Somebody might say, "Come on, you ain't never walked fast." Oh, hush. But I'm walking. Um, I'm getting there. I get tired. I'm still tired heavily, but I'm getting there. I'm grateful. I'm just grateful for life, health, and strength. And so God has been good. God has been faithful. Thank you all for in the comments. I'm just going to throw this back up here because we are just a few weeks out from Be Healed. And it would make my heart so grand if you are a lady and would like to attend the Be Healed Virtual Women's Conference. I'm looking to have about 30, maybe 50 women present. If you want like to be present, you can definitely do so. If you want to just be all virtual, no problem. But I would love for you all to join Reverend Dr. Lori K. Holmes. She's actually going to be in town this week and she'll be preaching at my church on Sunday. So I'll be doing video clips so you all can hear her preach and know how amazing she is and how God just uses her in a powerful way. Go to BeHealedConference.com and register. $40 registration. I don't know. And it's so crazy. Okay, I gotta say this. Everyone who called me and prayed, my nephew VJ, my girlfriend Nicoya, and Pastor Gwen. I mean, there's so many people that were calling me, Pastor Rebecca, and different ones, and friends, and folks. And none of these people know each other, but they all know Jesus. They all were saying the exact same thing to me. And I was just like going back to a couple months, I think a month ago, I was talking about how when your tribe has the same voice, they speak the same language because you could tell who they're in tune with. It meant so much. And so my god sister Crystal came and saw about me, and was my nurse for the day. Like, my community. I'm grateful. I'm just grateful for those that God has blessed in my life. And so thank you all for tuning in. Be Healed Conference is happening. And it's going to continue to grow and flourish because that's what God has given me. That's the baby that God has given to me. And I'm going to do what He has called me to do with it. So if you see it on my timeline and you get annoyed, whatever, just register so I don't have to bother you no more, okay? But until next time, you all continue to be well, continue to pray for one another, continue to pray for me as I pray for you. I'm grateful again for just another day, another opportunity to be alive, to be able to take in breath, to be able to live and not take this world for granted. So, um, with all that being said, I love you all. God bless you. Be Healed Conference, August 19th through the 21st. It's going to be an amazing time in the Lord. And so I believe God has something for all of us, male, female alike. So, fellas, it's going to be open on Friday. So Friday is open for everybody. But, Saturday is really for the ladies. But would love to have you all fellowship with us. So www.behillconference.com, $40 registration, and I will see you soon. May God bless you. May God keep you. And I'll see you at the conference. Love you all. Take care. Bye bye.